I'm Caden, here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're listening to Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
So, on today's episode of Eating W's, we have our NFL Week 12 preview. But first up, we'll give you a quick update on our head-to-head pick'ems game. So we both dropped 6 this week. Me dropping 6 behind that Vikings lock, you know it. But so that puts us at a score of me with 97 and Callan with 87. So we evened out this week. We called it a draw.
So I actually picked more right,
Yeah,
but our points equaled out because
I hit the lock.
You hit the lock bonus.
So I picked 5 correctly and you picked 6 correctly because you didn't hit your lock or you're upset. Them damn Titans. But now we'll jump straight.
Sure thing.
We'll jump straight into our Week 12 preview. And just a quick warning on this one.
It's a weird week.
We have some quick kicks picked out, but this whole slate of games is pretty much a quick kick. And also, just to start, we are not picking a London game this week. We are picking a London holiday because we are sending every Thursday game right over to London.
Because all 3 of them are just awful.
Because none of them are that good.
So they get the whole day over there across the pond.
They're all inconsistent. So we thought we might as well just group them together and let London celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yep, it's a London Thanksgiving football special.
Exactly. So with the first game, we got an NFC North matchup with the Bears heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. And Cal and I both have the Bears in this one. It'll be Andy Dalton starting instead of Justin Fields. So sadly, I've been talking about it all year that I pick the Bears every time because I want to see Justin Fields have his coming out game. And this probably would have been it against that Lions defense. But, of course, now he got his ribs broken.
That's just Chicago.
Because everybody peer pressured Matt Nagy into starting him. And this is what happened.
Peer pressure, man. Peer pressure is a bad deal.
I said don't start him, and Nagy just let himself get peer pressured into starting him. But I think Dalton, I can see this being a very close game. And to be honest, I can very much see the Lions winning because I also said I wanted to call it when the Lions won.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just so crazy. I don't see Campbell getting his first win on Thanksgiving. I don't know. The Lions always play on Thanksgiving.
It'd be the most Detroit
sense,
thing ever.
I just got the Bears in this one.
I think this game would be more entertaining if we saw Justin Fields versus Tim Boyle, the Tim Boyle Laser Show. That's the Lions' backup quarterback, formerly Green Bay's backup quarterback prior to Jordan Love. But yeah, we're going to instead get Andy Dalton versus Jared Goff. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know. That's just
look for huge games from David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift. Is pretty much all I gotta say.
We'll look at the running backs here.
There's going to be no passing.
It's going to be a lot of check downs. Big day for running backs.
Exactly.
Big day for running backs, I predict.
Next up, we have the Raiders heading to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, and Cal and I, again, both have the Cowboys in this one. Now, they did not show me anything to give me confidence in them last week.
No.
But neither did the Raiders.
No,
and
that's why this is another London special.
The Raiders seem to fall apart a little more every week. It seems like the shock, it was like reverse shock. You know how like when you're in shock and your body can't feel pain?
Well, and
it's like that's what they were going through getting those
and they
wins,
were getting hit with so many catastrophic events.
Now it's finally setting in.
How can you have a shock to one event when something else is happening when you're still recovering from the first goddamn tragedy? I mean, gee whiz, what a terrible time for the Raiders. And, you know, those players obviously did it to themselves. So did Gruden. Shouldn't have done all that stuff, but it's definitely got to be a distraction. And it, like I said last week, it just seems like, or last episode, it's finally exhausting the Raiders to the point where, gee whiz, how can you keep going, you know? And Dallas I give them all the shit for being a terribly coached team, but they do have that talent. Definitely. And I don't know if Richie Beyonce is a better coach than McCarthy. This might be a good time for McCarthy to possibly show he has some coaching skills because he's facing off against the young buck who didn't expect to be a head coach this year.
Yeah. I could see the Raiders maybe pulling out an upset.
But then, I could also see McCarthy totally fumbling that game, calling a terrible game, and the Raiders sneaking away with it because Derek Carr is a warrior. Well, we'll say that. If the Raiders win any games, it's because of Derek Carr.
That Carr-Waller connection is about the only thing surviving on that team. For our final Thanksgiving game on Thursday night, we have the Bills heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints. I have the Saints in this one as my upset, and Callan has the Bills. Now, the Bills, just like the Cowboys, are great on paper, but have not been showing me much to give me confidence in them this season or last week especially.
Some of their losses have been bad.
Exactly.
It's not like I'm not saying there's good losses, but I feel like there's bad losses. Like
Big time.
There's a loss, and then there's bad losses.
When you don't score a touchdown on the Jags, the Jags defense is probably the only good part of that team at this point.
They had a couple of eggs laid, and it doesn't make any sense for that team.
Not
so
at
much
all.
talent and pretty good coaching staff.
Now,
I don't know.
Ironically, at this point in the season with how the Bills have done, I think if Jameis is still starting, the Saints are probably borderline favored in this game. But with Simeon, of course, they're not favored. But, Simeon doesn't play bad. When I watch him,
he's a game manager.
He doesn't play exciting, exactly. He's a game manager.
Which is what you want your backup quarterback to be.
When the rest of the team is rolling, he can prove himself too. I watched him throw that one pass to Adam Troutman kind of on the run, just put a frozen rope to the back of the end zone.
Yeah, he's definitely capable.
And he shows stuff like that.
He's just not he's not a superstar starting quarterback. And I think Jameis was actually heading that way. Now that he had some good coaching, some good direction, and they were really enjoying his fun and his antics.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a big part of it. You got to buy into Jameis Winston. He's not going to change. He's going to be the same goofy SOB that he's always going to be. He's still dancing with those crutches.
He was prepared. He was prepared to take over
when
that
your trainer tells you
role.
what does trainer tell him? Yeah, I think he told him to be prepared.
He's told him to be prepared to take over that franchise. But yeah, I could definitely see this game falling either way, but I thought, let's have some fun. Give Trevor Siemian the upset.
Yeah, if not for Winston being out and Buffalo being an enigma at times, this would probably be a great game. But instead, we got to send it over to London, because who knows what the hell's going to happen.
Sorry, it looks like a decent matchup, but it's getting grouped up and it's getting sent to London.
The other two went. Just go with them. Just go.
So,
it'll be the best game they get this year.
Moving on to a Sunday slate of games that does not get much better, trust me.
We almost sent the whole week to London.
We're starting with an AFC North matchup with the Steelers heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals for the second time this season, I believe.
I think so.
I think the Bengals won the first matchup, and we have that happening again. Cal and I both have the Bengals in this one. Now, again, 3 teams in a row. The Bengals have not given me much to give me confidence in them. They played well against the Raiders, but it was against a very beat-up, very low morale at this point Raiders team. But overall, I think they have a better roster than the Steelers. They got a much younger roster than the Steelers. I feel bad saying it, but I think the Steelers are definitely on a down slope here at the end of this season and for the next few years.
The Steelers are actually a half a game up on Cincinnati in the AFC North standings because of that tie.
Of course, who else to provide a tie but the Lions? Not surprised at all.
So Bengals almost, I won't say it's a must win, but it's a
big time.
A need to win. I don't know if that, like the step below a must win, because it's going to knock them a game and a half to 2 games out of the AFC North, and I don't know if that puts them in a wild card or not. I can't remember. I forgot to look at the wild card standings. But as far as the actual division is, they have to win this game almost to stay in the conversation to win the division.
Yeah,
because at 6-4, at 6-5, Pittsburgh is 6-4-1. So it would be very big for Cincinnati to get this win or a tie.
No, that whole AFC North division is so close. This will be one to keep an eye on, to say the least. Moving on to another divisional matchup, this time in the NFC East, we got the Eagles heading to New York to take on the Giants. I have the Giants in this one, and Callan has the Eagles.
Yeah, like I said last episode, Hurts and Sirianni have really gotten on the same page. Hurts has looked much better these last few weeks, much more competent. Looks like a starting quarterback. That's what he's able to scramble. He's not just bailing and going to the run. He's completing passes to wide receivers. He's spreading the ball around, showing that he's a complete quarterback, and he's able to read the defenses. And early on, we were giving him a bunch of crap. I said myself, Hurts looks like a backup quarterback. Right now, I would say he's evolved, especially the last few weeks, to a starting quarterback because he's earned it. He has. Yeah. He's definitely put in the work and earned it.
I definitely agree. I'd by no means say he's a star quarterback, elite quarterback yet. I could see it maybe happening in the future.
He's trending in the right direction, though.
He's been on an up.
And they should have a pretty decent chance to win this game. The Giants just fired Jason Garrett and replaced him with Freddie Kitchens, so it's basically the same offense. Yeah. I'm not sure what change that did. So,
just a change in scenery.
Change of scenery.
But yeah, I got the Giants in this one for one reason. Well, one big reason. Another outside reason is I really like their defense. We've talked about their defense a few times. I think as a group they're really good. But my one big main reason is Saquon Barkley is back, and he didn't play great last week. He only got 6 or so carries, I believe, but he averaged 5 yards a carry on those carries. So now that he's kind of got his week to get it going again, I can see Saquon Barkley absolutely Jonathan Taylor style carrying the Giants offense and winning them this game.
Saquon is a guy that I put up there in that category of like AP and Jonathan Taylor that could just come out and have a huge game. I saw him do it at Penn State multiple times. I haven't really seen him do it in the NFL yet. He's had a couple of severe injuries.
His rookie year was really good.
He was really good, yeah. It looked like Penn State still.
Then he got hit with those injuries. Mm-hmm. If he can just stay healthy, though, he is a scary person.
This most recent one was a pretty fluke thing. He stepped on a defender's foot and rolled his ankle. Terrible injury for a running back. Probably not as long of an injury for about any other position. So I think he'll now come back from that, and like you said, there is a good chance that he could take over that game if he gets back into form.
Yep. Next up, we have the Titans heading to New England to take on the Patriots. I have the Patriots in this one, and Callan has the Titans as his upset.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way they played against Houston, Tennessee almost has to come out and look good. I mean, and what a team to look good against. You come out and look like shit against Houston. You look like the Houston Texans against the Houston Texans. So why not come out and look like the Patriots against the Patriots, huh? Vrabel, versus Belichick. You got Tannehill versus Mac Jones. I'll say who?
Huh?
Who? Mac Jones.
What?
Who? No,
I'm
who?
so confused.
You've never seen the Mike Jones? Mike Jones?
No.
Mike Jones. Who? I'm
so confused. I'm sorry.
Sometimes forget I'm 12 years older than him. He was a rapper in high school.
Oh.
And his Mike Jones and who? Now it's Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I'll show you. I'll show you later.
I have no idea.
I just realized he has no idea what I'm talking about. Hopefully some of you do. But yeah, I mean, geez, how you got to come out and look good against the Patriots after looking that bad against Houston. Good chance to come out and look good against them, and I think that they will. I think that as bad of a game they played against Houston, they'll play just as good of a game against the Patriots.
Yep.
Because NFL logic.
I could see that happening for sure. They're just coming off that upset. They want to win. But I think, just like I was saying a little bit ago with the Raiders being in shock and then finally having it set in, I think it is the Derrick Henry injury is just now finally setting in for the Texans. Wow, that was a struggle with Titans. I think the I think the Derrick Henry injury is finally setting in for the Titans. There we go. That was a struggle.
And that is a good point there.
And I think that the Patriots overall have a really stellar defense, and their offense is just good enough to complement their defense well. And I just don't see the Titans scoring much. I actually see this being a surprisingly low-scoring game overall. Mm-hmm. I could see this being a 10-17.
I mean, both coaches know each other very well.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another coach out there that knows Belichick as well as Vrabel.
Yeah.
So that will be very interesting to see that coaching matchup just in itself.
A big game for the AFC standing wise. Mm-hmm. This could be two teams fighting for a number 1 seed.
Who would
the
have
way
thought
you look
that
at
about
it.
the
Yeah.
Patriots 4 weeks ago?
Crazy to
We were
say.
writing them off.
Next up, we got the Chargers heading to Denver to take on the Broncos in an AFC West divisional matchup. And Cal and I both have the Chargers in this one, and I have them as my lock. I think it's overall pretty obvious why we have the Chargers in this one. Not much to say. I think overall the Chargers just have a better offense. I talked about it a little bit last episode with Justin Herbert continuing to play stellar every week. I think they're just too much for the Broncos.
Yeah, the Chargers, hell, they put 41 on Pittsburgh. That's pretty good. You know, they got a lot of young talented pieces. I think that defense is just kind of got to get its ground, you know, kind of learn how to shut down some teams. But I thought the Chargers would actually do much better than they have been this year. I looked at them as possible AFC title contenders. With Herbert having such a strong year last year, a really good offensive line, solid pieces around them. I actually think they've kind of underachieved a little bit this year. But I know a lot of that has to do with the defense and a new young head coach, Brandon Staley, coming over from the Rams. So, yeah, as far as Denver goes, you know, it's hard to tell with them. They go and beat Dallas and then get stomped out by Philly. So, I don't know. I can't get a read on them.
Denver is they're just one of the many anomalies.
Yeah,
of this NFL
I can't get a read on them. So
it is crazy.
Paper-wise, on paper, it looks like the Chargers should win this game by 10, 13 points. But
yep.
See which Denver team shows up.
Next up, we have the Vikings heading to San Francisco to take on the Niners. I, of course, have the Vikings, and Callan has the Niners in this one. Now, it makes me a little nervous coming off a big win against the Packers. I don't want to let our ego get let our heads get too big, our ego get too inflated. But all I really hope for in this game, of course I'm not saying I want to lose by any means, but I would be okay with a loss if I could just see another stellar offensive performance and another stellar play calling performance overall. If I can see what I saw against the Packers again, with the kind of pre-snap motions we were using and the different looks we are giving the defense, that's all I really care about in this game. I can see this game being close overall. The Niners are one of those very inconsistent teams, so I'm hoping, or I should say Jimmy G more has been a very inconsistent quarterback, so I'm hoping we get Jimmy G on a bad day. That'd be very helpful. I can easily see us picking up a win. I can easily see us dropping a win. But like I said, I just want to see our offense to continue to perform and our defense continue to hold up.
And I just picked the Niners out of spite. I'm still pissed off. But it does depend on which Jimmy G shows up. If it's a monsoon and Jimmy G doesn't want to be there, you guys should have this one in the bag. But if he feels like playing that day and it's sunny out and nice, look out. He'll end up looking like goddamn Tom Brady. I mean, that all depends. Which Garoppolo, does he want to play today or does he not want to play today?
God, but I love another Justin Jefferson 150.
And it is in San Francisco.
Makes me so happy. Yep. Next up, we have the other big team on our podcast. We got the Rams heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers, and another split. Callan, of course, has the Packers, and I have the Rams in this one. And ironically, same reasoning, not out of spite exactly, but just out of, man, all of a sudden we actually almost have a chance to win the North. Like, it's still low, but I don't know. If we win our other head-to-head matchup,
we'd have to lose out, and we would have to win out.
We're only like 2 games behind you. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're 8-3, and we're 6-5.
Yeah, so we're 2 games up. So we'd have.
So if we win the other head-to-head matchup, that's big. Like I said, I'm not saying like it's a tight race right now by any means, but there's still more than a chance. So I don't even think the Rams win this game per se. I just want to root for the Rams. That's literally the biggest reason I picked them in this one.
I am kind of worried about the Rams because they've lost 2 in a row before and then entering the bye last week. So they have 2 losses, bad taste of a loss in their mouth, and they've had a week to sit on it, doing nothing. So I'm a little worried about that. However, we still have the baddest man on the football field back there at quarterback. He can do anything. He's got basically like a half a toe, and I don't know anybody that could do anything like that, but but he's got like a half a pinky toe because of COVID. I'm not sure why COVID took his toe, but we may never know. He went out there and almost threw 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And they're like, yo, he can barely walk. He's in so much pain. I've said, I've seen my quarterback in Green Bay be in a shit ton of pain before and then go out there and throw 3 touchdowns. And usually 3 picks, too. But that was in the past.
That's the Vicodin talking.
That's the Vicodin. So I don't know if there's still Vicodin in Green Bay, if Rodgers got some from Brett. But he sure looked like that toe wasn't bothering him in Minnesota.
Brett's going to send him a pregame wellness
package, yeah.
Which is just 3 bottles of Vicodin.
And a dick pic.
Of course. That's going to be on the greeting card. It's going to be the cover of the greeting card.
Oh, God. That was good. And, you know, one other thing that I do worry about is that we lost Elton Jenkins last week, so we're saving back the RA till after the bye week. So we got a third-string left tackle in, going against possibly Von Miller. I'm not sure how he lines up on their defense. So, and on the right side, we got Billy Turner, who has been very well this year. So I almost kind of hope he goes against Billy Turner, but the Rams, you know, if you're smart, you put your best pass rusher against the least experienced offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
But it is in Green Bay. I know it's going to be cold. There's a chance for snow. We'll see how the Rams react to that. You know, they say weather does matter.
Oh, it definitely does.
When you got a team from LA coming to Green Bay, I mean that is like night and day difference.
That would
very in terms of climate, let alone weather. I mean,
yeah, that'd be helpful.
So I could see it. Also, last time OBJ came to Green Bay was that Giants playoff game, fresh off their party boat, and he put a fucking hole in our wall.
Really?
Yeah, he punched a hole in the wall after the game.
I hope he does it again.
That means that we won.
That'd be fine. Every time he comes, he puts one more hole in the locker room.
It was actually funny when he was possibly signing with Green Bay. Someone put out a tweet of the hole in the wall. It just said, "I miss you."
It'd be like the kicking net thing that OBJ
right?
had.
Yeah.
It'd be a hole in the wall. I'd go visit it. So next up on Sunday Night Football, we got another AFC North matchup with the Browns heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. I have the Browns in this one. Kellen has the Ravens. And the Browns did not look good against Detroit by any means. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Lamar will be back for the Ravens.
I'm picking the Ravens based on Lamar being back. It's not confirmed yet, but more than likely. His illness is like a food poisoning or something.
Oh, then yeah,
it's not even COVID.
But the Browns have just had bad luck with the Ravens. Every time they play them close, and every time they find a way to lose. That my main reasoning for this one is just I think that streak breaks eventually. I think Baker is kind of, I don't know if it's quite healing exactly, but I think he's learning his capabilities with his shoulder. So I think that'll help as the season goes on. And I don't know. I just got a feeling about the Browns in this one.
I think what you're trying to get is he's learning to how to play with it, deal with it, because I don't think they say it won't heal till he has surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're just holding off. Because they're like, well, it's not really going to get worse, but it's also not going to start getting better until the surgery. But that's still got to be difficult. Non-throwing shoulder, and you can tell it affects him. He had a number of overthrows. You can tell it's affecting just his play. And I think Baltimore will capitalize on that. And yeah, I do pick them with the expectation that Lamar Jackson's playing. If it is Tyler Huntley, I would say that the Browns have a better chance, obviously, with a backup quarterback. But Baltimore, it's just always seemed to own Cleveland lately.
That's true. They definitely have. And then finally, before we get to our quick kicks, we have our Monday night game with the Seahawks heading to Washington to take on the football team. I have the football team in this one. Callan has the Seahawks as his lock.
Mm-hmm. Because, now I know this game's on Monday night, but hear me out here. You got a West Coast team going to the nation's capital on the East Coast for a Monday night game. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks have one of the best records away from home. for a team, especially on when you have to travel on away games. Usually the Seahawks have to go pretty far, almost anywhere they play, and they have one of the best away records. And especially Russell Wilson has one of the best away records. In fact, there's only one place Russell Wilson has not won. Lambeau Field. No.
Oh, yeah, because I was in Seattle the one game with the Hail Mary.
Yep. So I believe that Russ will finally get it going. He's looked a little better each week. Obviously, at Green Bay, he was not ready. I think he was more ready last week and was more the timetable for returning, and now this week he'll be even more recovered and he'll finally put a game together.
I think him going early on it kind of ruined it. I think it's still going to take longer to recover now because he went too early. I still don't trust Russ just because of that injury mostly. Injured finger on your throwing hand, that's just rough. And I do like Heineke. Heineke has been playing well.
Heineke has played really well.
He's, of course, still not an elite quarterback by any means, but he's getting a little better every week. He's getting his team some wins, some clutch performances when they need them. So I just see the football team.
I haven't truly seen a quarterback resemble Favre since he's the only one. Truly resemble him. And even that's not, I'm not saying he's mirroring him. Just the closest, that whole gunslinger style. It's admirable. I love that style of play. You don't see it very much anymore. Everybody wants to be precise and time.
Yeah,
timing routes.
Kind
the
of
gunslinger is starting to go with the old, with the old West thing.
It's great.
And
it's great to watch.
And Heineke's played well enough. They've moved Fitzpatrick to the season-long IR.
Did they?
He's not even going to play for Washington because he only signed a 1-year deal.
I don't know why they ever signed him to begin with.
I think he should go to Denver. He'd fit perfect.
I could see him doing that. So, moving on to our quick kicks. To start it, we got the Panthers heading to Miami to take on the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins in this one. Callan has the Panthers. I know I usually pick the Dolphins, but that's because I was sticking with Sam Darnold more than anything. Mm-hmm. So now Cam Newton has been playing well, and I see this game being very close and just tip either way, flip of the coin. Could go either way. But I don't know. I feel like Tua's been kind of on an up recently. I think the Dolphins as a whole have a pretty, I'm not going to say well put together, but they seem like they like playing with each other, is kind of, for lack of a better term.
It's their coach. I think Flores is a really good coach, and I think I got the Dolphins. He's learning the ropes of coaching. This is his first head coaching experience. He's been there a couple years now, but it takes a little bit to really learn those ropes, Even LaFleur went through growing pains, and a lot of his success is obviously related to the team being successful. He took over a Packers team with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Flores took over a Dolphins team with
Tua Tungo.
No, he drafted Tua.
No, yeah.
They had Fitzpatrick when he took over. So you see what I'm trying to say here is that he's done well for the little bit he's had, and he's building a great squad over there, I think. And I think they could really I thought they could be a surprise team this year. I think they will be one next year, since they've kind of been down. They've won 3 in a row, though. But I think it comes to an end here. Carolina obviously just lost to Ron Rivera. They got pretty embarrassed by their former coach. So I think they're going to want to come out and play a good game and take out a little anger on Tua and the Dolphins.
Yeah, this one's a big-time coin flip. Next up, we have the Falcons heading to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, and Cal and I both have the Falcons in this one. I think that these teams are both in kind of similar cluster situations.
I think say they're going different directions. They are both cluster situations right now, but Jacksonville being the young team, I think would be more trending up. Atlanta's kind of a veteran team. They got young pieces, but Ryan's 34. I mean,
I'd be amazed if Ryan didn't retire at the end of this season.
Oh, I don't think he'll retire, but I do think he'll go elsewhere.
You do?
Yeah, I think Atlanta starts to rebuild now.
Pretty much the only reason I picked Falcons on this one is just talent on paper.
Matt Ryan is why I picked it. I think that, he's still a baller. He's still a gamer. He's going to go out there and try to win every game. And I think that, he himself is just more talented than that whole Jaguars team.
Matty Ice, baby. Next up, we got the Bucks heading to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. I have the Colts in this one. Callan has the Bucks. Now, Callan brought up a very solid point that I didn't think about, with that the Buccaneers have the #1 ranked run defense. But I don't know. I think Jonathan Taylor breaks that. I've been watching Colts games, film on Jonathan Taylor, and with the mixture of that O-line and the play-action game with Wentz, and then just the pure talent from Taylor, I think that he runs right through that defense still.
It's the great cliche matchup of an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, and I guess I'm putting my money on the immovable object. The defensive side. I think that the Buccaneers' run defense will be able to contain Jonathan Taylor. I don't want to say shut him down, because the role he's on right now, I don't know if you can shut him down, but I do think you can contain him and make Wentz beat you. And I think that's what the Bucs will try to do. They're going to bank on Carson Wentz being Carson Wentz and doing some left-handed hook shot from the end zone. And that seems to actually be more often that happens than not. So, yeah, you put your focus on shutting down JT, not Justin Timberlake. And you got a good chance to beat the Colts.
With that secondary, though, I think Wentz might be able to beat them, even if that comes down to that, though. But finally, we got the Jets heading to Houston to take on the Texans, and Cal and I both have the Jets in this one. I don't even have a reason, because both these teams are so bad, so inconsistent, so randomly upsetting.
Upsetting in the sense of they randomly upset a team that they should have been blown out by, like Tennessee.
I look at this matchup.
For both of them.
I look at this matchup and I just went, I'll pick Jets. There's my reasoning.
Yep.
That's literally my reasoning.
I got a little bit more just in the sense of Houston obviously went in, upset Tennessee, so they're going to be riding high, thinking they're superstars, and we'll see if Kyle Wilson comes out and plays, it's going to be all the other team. Who's the other terrible
Texans?
team? All Texans. I can't even think of their names anymore.
I can't even remember the matchup.
Bad.
It's that bad.
But if we get Zach Wilson out there, the Zach Wilson from BYU,
out there running around schoolyard bullshit.
I think it's the Jets all the way. Definitely.
It'll be fun to watch how this cluster plays out.
That's such an awful game. I asked if we had to pick it. We did.
So that was our NFL Week 12 preview. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time,
do not forget to eat the W.